Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expand-A-Brand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given. Everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top. Heroes will be made. And on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. Maguire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. Maguire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim Maguire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the Maguire Cup.
Winning the Maguire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied Maguire Cup?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frisco, Texas, site of the 2017 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. It's the finals for the under-16 boys between Tampa Bay United and West Coast FC. Tampa Bay United are going to be wearing their all-whites, countered by the blues for WCFC, and it's going to be Calvin Jones heading up things for Tampa Bay, countered by Neil Armour for West Coast. Tampa Bay is going to be in control as they got possession after the coin toss. Your starting lineups, the goalkeepers for each team. For Tampa Bay, it's going to be Thomas Knipe, and in the pipes for WCFC is Carlos Gonzalez. Center referee waiting for the official time to blow the whistle and start things off here. Your starters for Tampa Bay out in the field, it's going to be Nick Scargill, Brennan Brewer, Alejandro Rodriguez, Jeffrey Copper, Trevor Stanley, Andrew Motzer, Josh College, Rupert Soroneas, and Jeff Masser. You counter that with the team from West Coast as they have Alejandro Perez, Kusha Jababel, Parker Rusine, Wyatt Burris, Alexis Vasquez, Eugene Vanderwatt, Dominique Jara, Daniel Renega, Angel Franco, and Creighton Brown. And there is the whistle. We are underway here. Todd Panula along with you, bringing you this under-16 boys championship final. We'll give you more information about how these two teams made it to this place. They have been mirror images of each other throughout this tournament, both coming in with records of 3-1-0. Tampa Bay a little bit more stout on the defensive end as they've only allowed one goal throughout this tournament. WCFC have seen 4 hit the back of the net, but they have scored 7 compared to 6 for the team from Florida. So Florida and California represented here. Coast-to-coast action. High up into the air as the teams trade head balls back and forth. Finally, Tampa Bay able to settle it down, but Brown was able to knock it over to the far-hand side for Vasquez. Tried to lob that one over the top for Perez. Instead, it's countering for Brewer. Running underneath is Burris. Getting to it just a bit before Copper. And Copper colliding in there, gaining the first free kick of the game. Sliding up the right-hand side. West Coast pulling it back. Jad Babé. Now with Burris. His pass through the central portion of the field was intercepted. A strong challenge from both players there. Ended up with the ball, though, is Rodriguez for Tampa Bay. Soroneas dropped it back. Rodriguez. Masser. Sustained possession here for United. Burris trying to recollect. 50-50 ball taken by West Coast. Renega stepped into by Scargill. The run was being made by Brewer, but the pass did not find its way through. Instead, it's College. Now taken by Scargill. Both players slide in somewhat awkwardly. Tampa Bay trying to spring it, looking over the top. Once again, Brewer was making the run. The pass not quite on its mark. Tampa Bay trying to hem them in over on the far sideline. They will gain themselves a throw as it goes into touch. Back and forth possession here in the first 3.5 minutes. Quite a different story from the girls' final that we just played on this field, where there were 3 goals scored in the first 5 minutes. Yet to even really push it inside the 18-yard box in this one, as these teams easing into this contest a little bit more. Couple deflections, headed over to the far sideline, now back into the middle. Rodriguez spun around as he gave it over to Soroneas. Rodriguez again. One-touch passing as they tried to serve it over the top for College. Now in possession is Perez for West Coast, only briefly. Motzer surveying his options, comes here to the near sideline. Apolinario gave it all the way back to the goalkeeper. Knipe played it out. Foul given over on the far side. This would be the first free kick for West Coast in a slightly advantageous position. Wind is not blowing in their direction, though, so it'll be difficult to put this one directly on goal. They go on the ground with it as Braun played it deftly along the grass. Stepping into that one to knock it away was Apolinario. Renega couldn't quite get a foot onto it. Far side it goes as Rosine finds a teammate along the touchline. Out of the middle for Franco. Coach Armour telling Franco to be a little bit quicker with his decision making. Apolinario as the 2 number 13s get tangled up. And Tampa Bay United going to be forced to make an early substitution here. Coming into the game is going to be Bodwin Talifer. And it is Josh College coming out of the game, as seems to be favoring his right leg as he picked up a bit of a knock. We'll do it all over again. A tussle going on as they wrestle for position. Rodriguez coming away with it in the end for Tampa. Lobbing one over the top, but that was much too direct for Brewer. Renega on for Vanderwatt. Lobbed over to the far wing, intending it for Perez. He couldn't quite run underneath it. And again, the team's trading possession back and forth here along the touchline. The long ball going to be a little bit difficult today. The wind is not perhaps as strong as it has been at points during this tournament, but it's pretty steady. So the higher you play it up, the more the gusts are going to be able to play with the line. Now on for Rodriguez to the edge of the 18 and inside. Sliding to push that one out for a throw. Good defending there by Jad Babé. Corner kick given up, though, and Tampa Bay United with a chance to make something of a set piece. They go towards the short post. Nothing on there. Second attempt, putting back towards the penalty spot. And again, the defenders well placed. Right-footed shot, diving save made. Gonzalez couldn't corral the rebound initially, but he was able to dive out and smother it as it was well defended, keeping the attackers just at bay. Vasquez sends it up the line, touched around a little too strong from Perez. Tampa looking to counter from the back. Soreneas saw it go into touch. It will stay with United. Not too difficult to handle for Talifer. Now we settled into the ping pong match between head balls. Pretty good start to this one. It's forced a save. Tampa Bay United getting a good attack within the last minute or so. Carlos Gonzalez had to range down to his right and ultimately smother the rebound. Again, both these two teams coming in with identical records, and they got it in relatively similar ways as well. Both of them losing their opening match of the tournament. Tampa Bay United losing 2-1 to Cincinnati United. Whereas West Coast fell by a 1-0 scoreline to Javanon. Flicked on. Renega gets it back. Rodriguez steps into him. Brewer looking for an escape route. Coming up through the middle, Rodriguez making the run here on the right-hand side, but the ball was too direct. Needed to be a little more towards the corner flag, a little further away from goal. Scargo sent it back the other way. Soreneas tried to filter that through to Talifer. Now here's Braun. Straight away, now to the near hand wing, Jara. Renega tried to send it in the middle, and again, the number counterparts doing battle. Blasting that one away was Burris. He will concede the corner kick, though. So another set piece for Tampa Bay United to try to get the first goal of this contest in the 14th minute. Towards the middle of the goal, they got there. Skying up for it was Scargill, but he couldn't quite direct it on frame. Just got it underneath it just a little too much. Now asking questions is Perez, coming up the right-hand side. Numbers joining him in the attack, but the defenders are making their way back as well. Flag went up, foul was going to be given, advantage taken instead, and now there is a foul taken. Onto the near wing for Apolinario as they try to switch the point of attack. Sordoneas lobbing one over the top. In towards the box. Chance here. Centered in. Reasonably comfortable for Gonzalez in the end. Brewer was looking for the return pass to Apolinario, but it wouldn't quite find its mark. Perez to the far side now. Vasquez tried to return the favor. Massert all the way up, looking for Apolinario. Jara from the near sideline. Touched out. A quarter hour in here. And remember, during these age groups, the half length is going to be 40 minutes. So not quite halfway through this opening frame. Again, the numerical opposites come at each other. Renega was able to get the better of this one as he gains himself a throw. Back into play off the throw. Flick towards the edge of the box. Laid back for Jara. Didn't have any option to shoot, so he goes to the far sideline. Racine putting on the moves, but the defender was having none of it. Now Braun off to the races. Again, Apolinario with his pocket pick from behind, and then Brewer saw it roll away. Again, lobbing one over the top. Very direct. Both teams have tried to send one in behind the defenders to very limited success. So the free kick's going to come very deep inside the Tampa Bay half. With Scargill a little worse for wear. Up towards the half line, but again, None of these long kicks seem to find their intended target. Now a good chance towards goal, and it ended up a couple feet over the net. But nevertheless, a decent chance towards target. That was Vanderwatt, one of the captains for West Coast, to put that one towards goal. It'll count as a shot, not a shot on target. Masser gave it away, but Rodriguez reclaims. Braun played it up. Vanderwatt, options here on the near wing. Looks like he's got eyes for goal, though. Instead, hands it off, and well defended. A diving challenge, was able to thwart that attack at the edge of the 18. Going up into the attack now. Once again, just a bit too far away. Copper able to pick it up on the second attempt as well. Back out towards midfield. Apolinario trying to play it in off the throw. Options quite limited. They tried to get it on for Brewer. He's able to win it. Right along the end line. Served back out in front, and it was there for Rodriguez. But he just put it over. He'd like to have that one back, and now as we have pretty much hit the 20-minute mark, they're going to get the water break. Give us a little chance to let you know how Tampa Bay United got to this point. I already mentioned that 2-1 loss on day one to Cincinnati United, but then they turned around and flipped the score. A 2-1 win over Las Vegas, a 2-1 win over Philadelphia Ukrainian Nationals. And then in the semifinals, they defeated the somewhat heavily favored Javanon 1-0 in the semifinals. As I mentioned, a somewhat similar route for West Coast FC as they fell 1-0 on day one to Javanon. It was a 2-1 win over Raiders FC on Wednesday, and then Thursday saw them defeat Lobos Rush 2-1. And then in a semifinal round, they would defeat Cincinnati United by the score of 3-2. Both these two teams, interestingly enough, finished second in their groups. So conventional wisdom would have said that it was going to be a Javanon versus Cup final. But that's why you play the games, because our final right here is Tampa Bay against West Coast. It's been very tightly contested here in the early going. Twenty-second minute of play. West Coast in control of the ball. A chance to prod upfield. Just a bit out of the reach of Franco. Trying to keep it away from Soraneas. Chance for Vanderwatt towards the edge of the 18 as it came over the penalty spot. Left-footed drive off the defender. It's going to go out for a corner. A good chance there. Putting the foot through it was Renega. Dominique Jara will go over to the far-hand side to take this corner kick. First time down this deep for some time now for West Coast as they struggle for position. Jara gets it back. Now with a chance to look towards goal. Left-footed line drive off the crossbar. Fantastic chance taken there for West Coast, but it was not to be for Jara. Now Jara laid it back. Now looking for Burris. Jara again. Ladles one over the top. Nobody really making the run here towards the near sideline. Vanderwatt sandwiched. Took a spill. And Copper a little bit heavy on the touch as he tried to work it around the defender. Couldn't get the deflection that he would have liked. Taken down by Franco. Possession hard to come by. And the foul called on Masser. Heavy right foot put through it by Braun. It bounces in front. Perez was trying to run underneath, but the ball bounced just a little bit too high. Far wing, held in by Stanley. Again, they look up top for Perez. He's able to steal it away. Left-footed chance, and that was blocked nicely as Scargill had gotten back into position. Rodriguez, Masser clears it away. Brewer brings it down. A little bit of space in front. Quickly take it away, but they pass through with pinpoint precision. That last ball wasn't quite there as Rodriguez tried to chip it over the top looking for Taillefer. Perez with the little flick, but again, Scargill right in his back pocket. Polinario laid it on back as they try to build from the back. Copper, Rodriguez, Apolinario making the run. Stepping in front was Jara. Apolinario trying to make the steal, and he will gain himself the throw as it's into touch. Player down for Tampa over on the far sideline, but the throw-in was the call. It was Copper who was on the ground. Subs coming into the game now for West Coast in is Carson Kendall and Sebastian Hurdle. In the 29th minute, Masser to the center circle for Rodriguez. Masser again, this time looking to go over the top to Brewer. Didn't quite get enough on there. Rodriguez again. Brewer cutting in towards the middle. And he is taken out by Braun. Now Copper driving it in. Copper with the shot. Trying to cut back across the green. Didn't quite get the foot through it that he would have liked. Another sub going to come in now for West Coast. Coming into the game is Kai Peterson. So he will get his first action of today. And Parker Rosine will come out. Just about 10 minutes left in the first half. Not counting any time tacked on at the end. Taillefer saw it taken out of his possession. Bounded back and forth between a couple bodies over on the far sideline. And it'll be a throw for West Coast. Braun trying to keep it away from Taillefer, who is trying to put on some pressure as they do their little dance. Gonzalez gave it up to Burris, who got a little chesty there with that attempt to keep it away from the attacker. Alexander Armstrong getting ready to come into the game now for Tampa Bay. He will take the place of Bodwin Taillefer. So Taillefer puts in some good work in that striker position. Right now it looks like Armstrong's heading a little bit deeper, perhaps to try to get some more service. Trying to go up top to Ariza. Now on for Copper. Copper to the edge of the 18. Pushes it out towards the wing. Served back out in front, but nobody home. Masser able to win it just outside the circle. Rodriguez sends it back. Again, they look for options. Masser lunging to keep that one away from the attacker. Near side for Apolinario. Trying to give the one touch. Work the give and go. It wasn't quite there. Apolinario able to shrug off the challenge from Renega. Rodriguez looking for options. Lays it on through. Copper to the near wing. Gets a little bit excited and heavy with the touch. Renega trying to clear the line. Brown drops it back. Still not cleared. Dangerous in front. Lobbed over the keeper, and again it hits the woodwork. Multiple crossbars have been hit now. This time it was Brennan Brewer trying to chip the goalkeeper after the defensive miscue. Isaiah Sanchez coming into the game now for West Coast. Close to a dangerous kick there as Rodriguez came up with the bicycle attempt. Instead, taken down. Armstrong unable to come up with it. Off the other way. Sanchez looking to press upfield. Sends it outside to Vanderwatt. Into the attacking area. From the end line, played off the defender and a corner kick. Once again, Jara will come out to take it. He put it in a really good spot the last time they were over on that side. We'll see if they go short with it again and try to set up another Jara shot. You have to figure if they can complete that, he's going to try to take a little bit off it. Tampa Bay made a sub with Donald Williams coming into the game, taking out Jeffrey Copper. Jara still looking across the field. Now gets to go ahead to take the kick. Played a little bit too close to goal. The goalkeeper came out, got the punch onto it. Thomas Knipe wasn't necessarily too pleased. All the way out of the box, though, it's Gonzalez to blast that one away as the counterattack could have been on there for Brennan Brewer. So box-to-box action here in the last minute or so. So we're in the 36th minute of play. Just about 4 minutes left in regulation here in the opening half. Renega trips over the ball just a bit and then takes a player to ground. And he was trying to avoid contact there, but ended up being almost a professional wrestling takedown. The recently inserted Williams sends it up the line. He has taken over that right back spot, which has allowed Apolinario to kind of push into the midfield. Now on for Brewer, pushing into space. Challenges come, sends it over to the left-hand side, looking for a cross, and instead Sanchez came back to deal with it. Second attempt now for Stanley as he's pushed up into a more attacking area. Lobbed up towards the penalty spot, lunging for a header. Wouldn't settle down. Rodriguez was going for glory, but it just wouldn't fall for him. So as this game closes in on halftime, we've got a lot of action going on around this Toyota Soccer Center. The game behind us is one of the girls' finals. That one is currently in spot kicks. penalty shootout, if you will. West Coast FC trying to set something up here as they got it over to the far-hand side. Sanchez couldn't quite corral it. Now second attempt. The ball got through. Defender didn't handle it cleanly the first attempt. Now a right-footed volley will head off towards the pond. So any of the reactions that managed to come through over the sound are that girls' final. Penalty shootout, never the way that I would prefer games to end, especially with a goalkeeping background, but you have to end it some way. You can't play all day, as Williams had his legs swept out from underneath him. Sanchez able to stop it. Rolling all the way back. Armstrong able to take control. Masser is now they just kind of play keep away with it. Apolinario, Masser, just a little too heavy on the touch. Just for a quick update, Cup Gold, Cincinnati United has won that girls' final in behind us. So congratulations to them. As teams from all around the country have managed to get themselves into the national finals. Obviously, we've got coast to coast here with the Florida and California represented. Apolinario, who's dropped a little bit more into a defensive midfield role, but he's kind of amorphous, kind of allowed to roam where he will. As this one touched out. We've reached the full 40 allotted in this time, and we're going to have 2 minutes extra. 2 minutes of stoppage time added on to this first half. Most of that likely coming from the water break, as there really hasn't been a whole lot in the way of breaks and pauses in this game. Swung back around as they find Williams here on the near side, lobbing one over the top. Again, those long balls just not really finding their intended targets, and really it has nothing to do with the wind. It's just the service has not necessarily been where they would like it to be. Free kick given just on the north side of the half field for Tampa Bay. Chance to put it in a dangerous spot here. Doing the service will be Andrew Motzer. He's got Williams out here to the right if they want to go with a more short kick, but they want to go direct. Line drive kick. And with the curl on the ball, it was going to be difficult for anybody in behind to try to get their head and snap it around. So it ends up all for naught as it rolls out for the goal kick. Gonzalez puts it back into play. Can't be too much time remaining on the 2 minutes additional tacked onto this one. And there is the halftime whistle. So nothing decided yet in this one. Still everything to play for as we head off into the break. I will take a quick break, and when we come back, We'll have your second half of action between Tampa Bay United and West Coast FC. Don't go anywhere. More after this. Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expandabrand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given, everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top, heroes will be made, and on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft. The first Monopoly board game went on sale. Social Security began. And Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. Maguire Cup, after the late U.S. Soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. Maguire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim Maguire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the Maguire Cup.
Winning the Maguire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied Maguire Cup?
Hello and welcome back to Frisco, Texas. Todd Panula along with you here as we are bringing you this coverage brought to you by Turbo Sports Group between West Coast FC and Tampa Bay United. 40 minutes in the books, 40 more to go, plus any additional time. And if it comes to it, 15-minute halves for overtime. And then the dreaded penalty shootout if we have to reach that point as well. Underway here in the second half of a scoreless game between Tampa Bay and West Coast. We do have a goalkeeping change to report, as checking into the game for Tampa Bay United was Russell Peneas. Rodriguez goes down in a heap over on the far side. Apolinario trying to steal it back, as that one was touched out just a little bit too strong by Renega. This is our final game of the day here on Highlander Field on what's been a wonderful tournament. We've had great weather, obviously a little bit warm for most people's tastes. It got up well into the 90s on several days, and one day it even crossed into triple digits. But they altered the times of the games this year. I believe they were starting more around 8, 10, 12, and 2, and that kind of put it into the heat of the day, especially for those afternoon games. This time they moved it an hour earlier for the group stages, 7, 9, 11, and 1, and that was really enough to kind of get you out of the bulk of the heat. I mean, you're still going to deal with adverse conditions. But overall, we've had spectacular weather, all things considered. No rain, not really even the pop-up storm that we normally get at these kind of events. Masser able to play it up. Over here towards the near-hand side, trying to get it on for Ariza. Sanchez to Kendall, lobbed onto the far wing. Jara, and that one was taken away. Coming back was Armstrong. But again, all credit has to go to the grounds crew for these as well, because the fields have been kept in really good shape overall, which you have to say they have managed to fix a lot of the clumps that have been taken out. The only thing that I would say against them was yesterday it seemed like the field was just a tiny bit too watered, overwatered, if you will, and it was causing a lot more large chunks to be taken out when players were trying to plant their feet, which is going to happen regardless if they're jabbing their foot into the ground hard enough. But it just seemed like the turf was coming up a little too easily in that instance. But other than that, they've kept the fields in really good shape considering the amount of games that have gone on during this tournament. 4 games a day for 3 days straight during the group stages, and then 3 or so games after that. It's just been a well-orchestrated event overall, as it normally is, put on by U.S. Youth Soccer. We are in the national championship round here, trying to crown a title winner for the 16 and under boys group. been an interesting contest in this one because the chances have been few and far between, which is not to say that the teams have created nothing at all. You'd have to say that Gonzalez has been tested a little bit more than Thomas Knipe was in that first half. This one's ladled over towards the near sideline. Thinking about putting a foot in through it was Stanley. He carries all the way to the corner, still trying to get in position. Double teamed in the end. Help comes in the way of Sanchez. And that was actually Rodriguez, my mistake. This one rolls out. And it'll be a goal kick. Flag goes up. It did cross the line. Tampa Bay in control. Now on for Rodriguez as he cuts through three defenders. Still trying to get a cross off. It's going to be difficult given his positioning. Blocked in front. Coach Jones asking for more effort from his team. He wants more effort like Robert Soroneas, who's been all over the pitch. Just a bit too far, wouldn't stay in for Rodriguez. Flicked over the top, too tall for Ariza. And then blasted back up into the sky. Sanchez. Again, high up in the air, brought down by Braun. Armstrong was in chase. Rodriguez putting the pressure on. Braun right at center field. Trying to absorb the pressure now is Kendall. Kendall wanting to put it back on that right foot. Comes in for Sanchez. Looking back for Kendall. Again, trying to put it on the right foot. If he could have swung a left foot through it, perhaps you create something. Just flicked around as Peterson stuck out the leg but couldn't connect. Copper. Apolinario. Apolinario putting it on the right foot. Now triple teamed with pressure coming. And he alleviates that by sending it back. Stanley back for Apolinario. Gets around the defender nicely with a good move. Wants to go back on that right foot. And again, in the last minute or so, both of the attacks for each team have been somewhat slowed down by trying to get it back onto your favorite foot. Soroneas couldn't quite keep it in. Counterattack. Pushing upfield. Ariza wasn't quite there as he was looking up top to Resendiz. Some frustration creeping in here for both teams. As looked like Franco was quite upset with the center official, and that was actually Carson Kendall. Copper pushes it on back. Sun getting a little bit higher up into the air. Warming up the day a little bit. The wind seems to have lost some of its effect in keeping the area a little cooler. Although sitting on concrete probably doesn't help my judgment of it all. 50th minute of play here. No score in this national final. Still a pretty comfortable day overall compared to what we have had. 82 degrees right now. Trying to lob it over the top, but Hurdle will get to it first instead for WCFC. Missing on the sliding challenge. That's going to allow Kendall to push into a dangerous area. And now we're going to come back as there's a player down for West Coast. Sebastian Hurdle, the one down on the ground. And it looks like we may get a booking here as Apolinario has been summoned by the referee. So a yellow card in the 51st minute. The yellow card given now to Xavier Apolinario. Copper trying to put on some pressure here, as was Rodriguez. And Rodriguez's pressure actually managed to push that one out. Scargo. Motzer. Apolinario. Tried to send it to Williams. Here to the near side for Peterson. Braun just able to drag that around the attacker. Williams able to get a piece of it. Williams coming back again, but now it's with Hurdle. And just blasted way out of play. So it's been a somewhat slow, methodical game. Neither team has really tested the goalkeepers too much. It hasn't necessarily been a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. Just a different one, especially from the broadcasting perspective, simply because the U18 girls final that we had in the early morning hours, that one, you had 3 goals scored in the matter of 5 minutes. In fact, the first 5 minutes. So this one's been a little bit more deliberate, a little more cautious. The team's not wanting to give up that play that's going to end up costing themselves. So they've managed to kind of keep themselves behind the ball in most instances. So counterattacks have been snuffed out rather quickly. Sanchez trying to serve it on for Hurdle. He was making the run, but the ball wasn't quite there. Now Williams pushing up from the right back position, gets it on to Brewer. His pocket was picked from behind as Hurdle stepped into him. Hurdle gets it up. Kendall serves it back. Sanchez looking for space. Alexis Vasquez will come back into the game now. He will replace Angel Ariza. It's Coach Armour trying to keep his troops fresh. Lobbing one over the top, trying to get it in for Brewer. He tries to do the same for Copper. Defender spotted it. Near side for Vasquez. Stepped into by Soroneas. Copper played it right into the defender. Soroneas can't get around the sliding tackle. Rodriguez. Little scoop pass. Foul will be given. Looked like Peterson got a little too overzealous on the attempt to keep Rodriguez away. As of right now, it doesn't look like any extra punishment will be handed out. So from roughly 12 yards or 25 yards away, there's plenty of options now for Tampa Bay United. They have both Jeff Copper and Trevor Stanley up there, left and right footed respectively. Trying to go over the top. Masser was driving in. Couldn't quite get his head on it, though. Might have flicked off of some of his hair follicles, but that was about it. Trying to put it back up into the attacking area. Motzer. Now Rodriguez pushing around Jara. Brewer picking up the speed. Plays it across. Off the defender. No. Just went straight out. Still good effort there from Brewer to get into that spot. Masser able to keep that one away as they were trying to get it to the very tall Kevin Resendiz. Now Copper was going to go for glory, seeing if he could catch the goalkeeper out. He was about 4 yards out. Vasquez struggled. Second attempt, just lobs it in the air. Coming out with a strong punch there was Penias. Taken down by Vasquez. Looking for space. Instead it's Sanchez. Vasquez gets it. Over here to the near side. Now Copper with a bit of space. And he stumbled over the ball. As the numerical counterparts get tied up again. Still down is Copper back towards midfield. Vasquez looking for the cross, and stepping into it was Soroneas. They go short with it, trying to get it on for Kendall. He sees it roll out again. Vasquez with another opportunity to serve it up. This time he'll gain the corner, as that couldn't be cleanly controlled by Stanley. So West Coast keeping numbers outside the box. Now they make some runs in. Never got there. Another chance here. Chara, left foot towards the back post. Nobody home to get on the end of it. It's a pretty good ball overall. And now, an hour into this match, we'll have another water break. A scoreless game in this national final between Tampa Bay United and West Coast FC. It's been very tightly contested, very hotly defended. The coach is getting a little worked up here. Coach Jones wondering why his team was not given a foul moments ago as Copper was kind of taken down in a little bit of a tussle, but also wondering why the initial foul on Nick Scargill was called, because in the coaching staff's viewpoint, he went straight up, and from my vantage point, and I'm only about 10 yards away from their bench, it seemed like there was a bit of a lunge in, especially with the knee coming up. And you could call that multiple things. It really was just seemingly a foul in and of itself, and I think the coaching staff, if they have a chance to go back and look at that, they'll feel a little bit differently. Just the heat of the moment, wanting things to go your way a little bit better, as neither team has really managed to grab this game by the scruff. Closing in on 11 o'clock local time. And again, we appreciate you tuning in to this Turbo Sports Group production of the U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. Whether you're watching down in Florida, out in California, or any points in between. Hopefully you're enjoying today's match. Vasquez will get it here on the near side, trying to push his way around Taylor. Taylor doing a good job. That was actually Stanley, my mistake. Lobbing one up to Brewer. Chested down there by Burris. And he will actually get the deflection in his favor, so the throw-in will be on for West Coast. Still 0-0 here in the 64th minute. Brewer with control of it as he pushes inside the 18, left-footed cross. Nobody on the back door. Best case scenario for Tampa Bay United there would have been Apolinario just lunging out with that right foot, hoping to get something on it. Because there was a lot of pace behind that cross and nobody coming in from the backside. They go inside the box this time, but too tall for Apolinario. Williams doing a good job of putting the throw into a dangerous area, though. Counterattack on now for WCFC. Well spotted there by Scargill. Trying to form a counterattack of their own. And that's too tall. Copper unable to run underneath it. Now a chance here. Sordaneas put a solid left foot through it, but just leaning back the entire way. Up through the midfield. Resendiz trying to track down Masser. Instead, it's here on the near wing with Stanley. Masser again along the center stripe. Second opportunity. Apolinario from the circle to Brewer. Flips it over to the far side for Williams. Taken instead by Hurdle. Now Kendall. Options few and far between for both sides here as they're kind of stuck in the midfield. Last touch by Vasquez, but he wasn't too aware of it. Dropped over here now for Stanley. Soraneas, Stanley again. Working the passes through the triangle, but that's not going to get you too far forward. Peterson laid it back and blasted upfield by Jad Babai. Vasquez working his magic in the corner and then just let that one slip away from his grasp. Coming in now for WCFC, Alejandro Perez will come back into the game, and he is going to replace Kevin Resendiz. The championship shirts coming out of their boxes. Still a lot to happen, though, between now and when those get handed out. 68th minute of play. We're going to play 80 and then perhaps a bit more if necessary. This one blasted off onto one of the other fields again. Again, possession wasted just a little bit as it goes out for the goal kick. Sub coming in at the next opportune time for Tampa Bay. Bodwin Taillefer will come back into this one. And do have to note that Josh College has really made no look towards coming back into this one. Now here's a heck of a drive, but it just kept on rising. Jeff Copper really striking that one solidly. He's going for glory, almost came up with it, but again, just leaning back a little too far. So back in is Taillefer, out is Apolinario. As Coach Jones continuing to find that lineup that's going to get him a goal. Both teams searching for that something special here. Again, the pinball game goes in the midfield. Stanley, now Copper. Two defenders on his back, so he has to retreat. Copper again, right in his back pocket was Peterson. Shrugging off Vasquez as Copper pushes forward. Soraneas gets it up top to Taillefer. Soraneas gets it again, and this time the foul given, but it's going against Tampa Bay. Vasquez with a good cross, Bounced high off the chest, though. It couldn't be settled cleanly by Perez. Copper again. Runs being made. Copper eating up space in front. Cutting through the midfield. Serving it up to the right wing now. Rodriguez. A little bit cute there with the chip in towards the box, but nothing comes of it. Gonzalez in no big rush here to put it back into play, allowing his team to push upfield a little bit. But despite the relatively low temperatures compared to what we've had earlier in the week, there's a lot of walking going on. Players trying to conserve their energy. 72nd minute. It's going to be a corner kick coming up for West Coast. Interestingly enough, Dominic Jara, who's taken the majority of these, not in the game right now, so it's going to be Vasquez. They're going to go short with it. Sanchez lays it back. Vasquez lobbing it. And again, he was trying to go for Burris, but well spotted. Here's Brewer on the counter. Not much help. Looks to take it himself. Now he's got some aid, but that pass was nowhere near Sordones. Vasquez from the middle of the park. Copper just kind of lunging in on that challenge. Needs to kind of watch himself. It's been a very clean game overall. The only booking back in the 51st minute, Xavier Apolinario called as the play was brought back. Initially, advantage given. Everything kind of dried up. Referee came back, dispensed the justice. A trio of substitutes coming in now for West Coast. Back into the game now is Renega, along with Vanderwatt, and also Angel Franco. Copper again trying to work his magic along the touchline. Over to Williams. Drops it back. Again, Copper. The little step over. Williams had made the run in. And not really sure where that ball was intended to go. Just about 6 minutes left in regulation. Both these teams trying to find that special something that's going to put them over the line. Now on for Perez. Towards the end line, peels it back. Coming out to deal with that one was Scargill. Little push from behind. Brewer gets away with it. That was actually Copper. Brewer making the run up here on the near side. Instead, they go a little bit shorter. Now Brewer on the ball. Vanderwatt trying to slow him up a little bit. Stanley lays it on through. Copper, a little heavy on the touch. Taylor goes to ground. Now everybody getting tied up. And it's going to be coming out. Braun couldn't keep it away from Brewer. Now here's Rodriguez pushing forward with numbers. Taylor with the right-footed shot. And it just kind of cuts across the box. Taken down by Taylor. Here's Copper. As WCFC couldn't escape their own half with any conviction. Now Rodriguez with pressure coming from behind. Jersey tug. No call. Tampa still in possession. Stanley. Sotoneas. Stanley again. One touch passing. Masser a little heavy on the first touch. Copper. A little bit of a nudge from behind. He went to ground. The referee says too easily. Into the box. Brewer into the goalkeeper. What a save. Rebound chance. And it falls right to Gonzalez. Great work for Tampa Bay United, but you have to wonder if time is running out here in regulation. About 2.5 minutes left before we hit any stoppage time. And then after that, who knows? Williams doing his best to keep the attacker away. Kept in for Rodriguez. Taking on Vanderwatt. Laid it in for Taylor. Coach Jones saying that they're right there, just a little extra push, and they're going to find that score. Brewer had it pilfered away. Masser gets around the pressure initially. Brewer laying one in. Taylor going to get the right foot through it. But again, nobody here on the backside. Copper chases it down. Smartly played into the box, but Rodriguez was just too strong on that first touch. Sotoneas, what work? Left-footed, deflected off the defender. And it will be a corner kick. Coach Armour screaming at his team, wanting them to keep up with this game, not let it slip away here at the death. Under a minute to go here in regulation. Left footer going to put it in towards goal. At least the edge of the 6-yard box. Good curl on this one. And score! Nicholas Scargo! 1-0 Tampa Bay United. We've seen stranger things happen, but surely the national title will be going to Tampa Bay now. So little time can be left. It's all about how much stoppage time is added on to the end of this one. We're going to get a good idea here as the official about to put the board up in the air. Screaming for away from the bench. Is this one coming over here to the near side? 2 minutes of additional time. So not much left here for West Coast. They've got to push everybody forward now. Throw caution to the wind. And now they're going to get a free kick. So now Jara is in. He's going to put a left foot into it. This might be the last gasp as we're closing in on 60 seconds played. Good service towards the back post. Defenders saw it. Getting some jostling going in just around the 18-yard area. Nobody coming up with clean possession. And now the foul given. It'll be a free kick favoring Tampa Bay United. Time pressing on. Tampa Bay United's coaching staff barking out orders. And there, Taylor getting a little bit overzealous with his questioning of that foul. Time ticking away here for West Coast. Gonzalez way out of the box to take this free kick. Everybody up. Well-placed ball. Defender dealt with it. Rebound loose. Vasquez put it towards goal, but it was smartly blocked. Vasquez here to the near sideline. Vasquez. Instead, it was Franco. Decent ball in. They were looking for Perez. The volley wouldn't fall. Chance for Perez. He dances his way through two defenders. It's played out. And then covered by PNES. There it is, the final whistle. Tampa Bay United are national champions. The dog pile with one of the coaches at the bottom. Not really sure who it was. Everybody up, but raucous joy coming out here as the fans have rushed out onto the field as well. A rather despondent WCFC as they have the displeasure of having to line up as the losing team. It's the sportsmanlike thing to do, but it's got to kind of put a little bit of a wrench in your gut to walk across there knowing that you gave all and the other team had just a little bit more. But Tampa Bay United winning the national title here on the final day. There wasn't too much in the way of stoppage time added on. There didn't need to be because the game was pretty solid all the way through. The officials did a very good job of keeping control of this one. There were a few chippy fouls here and there towards the end, but I thought the center official did a really solid job in this one. Probably one of the better officiated games that we've seen throughout this tournament, and that's just what you want when you get to the national championship. Each side will feel a little bit hard done by a call here or there, but as long as they even out in the end, then the officials have really kind of called it down the middle. West Coast, again, applaud them for their efforts. It's going to sting for them. They're not going to be happy about this result at all. They created chances here and there. They pushed into the box continually. But for whatever reason, it just was not their day in terms of formulating that attack. They really couldn't trouble either goalkeeper because Tampa Bay United put two of them in there. They started the game with Thomas Knipe, finished it up with Russell Pianias, but neither one would see a goal go past them. The lone goal coming in the 80th minute with Nick Scargill skying up and banging it home with the header. So Tampa Bay United joyous out on the field. They will get those championship T-shirts and hats. And they will get to head home, whether they're flying back or driving back. It's going to be a happy trip. So with that, I will sign off for the rest of this tournament. We will leave you with the images of Tampa Bay United in their victorious celebration. For everybody here, for our great camera crew, for all of us at Turbo Sports, Scott Cheney under the tent, we've all been burning up in the heat. It'll be nice to head home, hopefully, where we'll get a little more air conditioning, a slight bit more sleep as well. But we've enjoyed the heck out of covering this for you, and we hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm Todd Panula. For everybody here at Turbo Sports, thank you for watching, and until the next time, have a great day.